Rabbi Winner, thank you very much for joining us. Okay, so you were a Talmud, Reb Yoel, and perhaps you could share with us some zechronos, what you remember, what you got from Reb Yoel.
So first, I want to say that ich bin from the Kleine Mekablim. The truth is that actually sitting in front of him in a shir, habe ich gelernt after a year and a half. There was 1.5 year when I came back from Shlichus Atzabacha. I was in California from Mem Aleph to Mem Gimel. And then was the Seder that when you came back from Shlichus, you spent the summer in 770. I don't know what's going on today. But the Seder. So we came back, my Kvutza came back, Tafshin Mem Gimel, Shavuos Mem Gimel, and we stayed in 770. So mit Gelent mit Reb Yoel, the ganze Kayitz, Mem Gimel, you know, he would stay. We stayed in 770, and we heard shiurim from him. And we heard shiurim from him in Chayvei Torah. We were 770 Bachram, but the Seder was, he came Chassidus to give a shir in Chayvei Torah. We would go to Chayvei Torah. We made up, I don't remember exactly, maybe twice a week, maybe 3 times a week. Somebody would pick him up from his house. We'd give him a call. He'd go, you know, okay, give me 10 minutes. And then someone picked him up. He came to Chayvei Torah and he gave a shir. That shir was Be'ikir al-Kutei Sichos. The Gedichte, the Skabovke Inyanim, Chiliktes, Dvarim, Eikev, Vaschanan, those Inyanim. That was summer Mem Gimel. Chutz from them, I learned from him. I'm trying to remember. Maybe Mem Hey. I don't know which year. He gave Samach Vav 1 year, and he gave Ayin Beis another year in Yiddish. I was by one of those years. Okay. Now before that, ich bin a bacher in Ocean Parkway. And I'm just giving you, you should know the background from was ich gehört von Reb Yoel. So he used to come to Ocean Parkway. The Seder was that there was a kvutza every year of 770 Bachim that learned in Ocean Parkway. And a sach from the famous Talmidim learned from Reb Yoel over there, because that was like the Tanai. Don't ask me. Reb Yoel did not give shiurim to Bachim in 770. The only way you can get a shiur from Reb Yoel was if you learned in Ocean Parkway. So there was a yeshiva in Ocean Parkway. They needed a kvutza Bachim to go there. Many Bachrim, either noch shlichus before that they were in Kfar Chabad or in Teres Emes or whatever, they could be coming from overseas, let's say it's from a different country. If they wanted to learn by Reb Yoel, they went to Ocean Parkway. And Reb Yoel would come there and teach Samach Vav. In that group is Tzigim Blatt, David Feldman, Shalom Charatonov, Shalom Bergerari, trying to remember, whatever, Asach. I learned in Ocean Parkway from a Sifte till after Zal, which I learned in Ocean Parkway from Lamed Dalit, I would say, till Lamed Tes. So being in Ocean Parkway, the Yoel would give a shir to the 770 Bachrim in Samach Vav, but then once a week he used to give like a shir klali in Ocean Parkway, Tanya Shurim. So I was there for many of the Tanya Shurim that was open to Mesifta boys, Zal boys, and also he would come to Fabrenk sometimes in Ocean Parkway. At the Grace Yom Tev, Mitas Kislev. So it was open house. Anybody could sit there by the Fabrengens, and that was where he used to Fabreng. That's where he used to Prave, you know. So that's many years of, you know, I was able to be around Valgenzich, you know, by those Fabrengens, those shiurim. So that's one thing. And the last but not least is the Friday night shiurim. This is legendary. B'meshach kol hashanim. It was unbelievable. Just to be metayr, a winter night. I heard these things changed. Today you tell a bacher, Seder, Yeshiva, Friday night was from Lichbenchen till 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock was Ma'ariv in 770 upstairs in the Kleine Zal. So the Rebbe has this Seder, normal in 770, yeah. The Rebbe's davening downstairs with the Elam, the Bocharim in 770 went to Chevei Torah. I'm talking about my years in the Mems. Everybody went to 770. Sorry, everybody went to Chevei Torah, and Reb Yoel went through the whole. You got to say the sichos. He would go through, usually in one sitting, the whole sicha. Eichet from the Gedichte. Hey, Vav, Zayin, Shmois Chelik Vav. How you do? Having Dirib Tachtenim could be one night, one Friday night. So the Seder was, if I remember correctly, yeah. First he went there, and there was a shir. It was a shir. There's like 80 bachim in the shir over there. The whole 770. The Yoel's going b'chol hatekev like there's no tomorrow. 50% of the people are sleeping. The heat is far full blast. It's freezing outside. Bachim are exhausted from Dorish to V'nacht from Mivtzoyim. But Reb Yoel is going strong. So for die was in Gewendarten, who were makabel and reingenommen, it was Gilead, Mamish Shabbos, Reb Yoel get a shir, and it's going on and on and on. And then he finished the shir, and the Rechel going to say the Nigunim, with a Maimer. And then everyone walked to 770 and davened upstairs in the Kleine Zal. That was to say the Midah Shabbos b'Shabbate for years and years and years. So if you listen to those shiurim, it was the real Meidike shiurim. To show them, obviously it's not on tape, but I'm sure whoever went to those shiurim will never forget them. Und noch dem auf dem Weg, ich gedenk, walking from Chevei Torah to 770, der Knetsch, not what I feel. I'm saying the handful of bachim that were into it, were really into it. It was discussed the whole way to 770, the Rachfarin daven, the Nachen daven. It was amazing. So that's my sum total of my shiurim b'sachik head from Rabbi Yoel. And this mice, what I'm telling you with the Friday night, this is the Meshach Kol HaShanim. So if I was in New York, I mean, even after, like ich bin a bissel ältere Bacher, let's say 24, 20, I would just keep on going to the Shir Friday night, so given, Tam Gan Eden, everybody would go. It was amazing. Okay, so that's my shaykhis. What was the question?
No, well, so what did you, was there something specific that Yoel would try to drive home or try to speak about, bring out, either in those shiurim, the verbringens?
Reb Yoel's main nekuda, obviously, is the Chiddush from Rebbe's Torah. In those years, it was all about Lekutei Sichos. It was before my mother Malukit. And in the Yoel's world, Lekutei Sichos was the Chiddush of the Rebbe. In other words, the Nai Chassidus, the Nai Uftu. The Gerum, the tiefste Nyonim, und reingebracht eine neue Sprache, eine neue Welt. Was käme und gewinnt. And his famous Marshal always said, Le Marshal, Hashgacha Pratis. Doch der tiefste in Yonem. Und der Rebbe geht am Marshal von der Balabuste. Aber bei Balabuste, jeder sagt auf seiner von Ort. So that's his example to bring out how the tiefste hechste in Yonem comes down to the Rebbe in a new Sprach, with a simple mashal, and the whole language of Lekutei Sichos is a tifere shlav and amshachas ha'etzem as me ken arab bring chassidus mata and chutza shei chutza imenu. I'll give you an example. This is like late night. Reb Yoel didn't speak so much Rebbe as much as live it. Obviously, the matzav noch gimel tamas it's gebitten, but I'm saying when we were bacher, so there was a word he once said. I'm just giving you an example. So the Rebbe came at the Makkabeh Patish, the Eira El Al Kolona. After I'll give you a farbrengen, the style Yutas Kistel classic farbrengen is about the Lamaylam and Asechel, kommt up in Sechel. Was the bleibt Lamaylam and Asechel. But the way it starts is, to understand that, we have to go back to Moshe Rabbeinu. And we have to go back to Matan Torah. Then we go to the Alter Rebbe, since Chabad, and then we get to the Rebbe. You get my point? So somewhere there, he's going, ich stell dich vor, aber Moshe Rabbeinu ist schon jemand gar anders, doch Matan Torah. So that's the point. Mashiach is nicht da, aber belebt steht mit Moshe Rabbeinu. Und bald kommt Matan Torah. So we're in Deir HaShvi, we're with Deir HaShvi, with Moshe Rabbeinu, so far Matan Torah, because Mashiach is not here, aber es ist schon gar anders. Get my point? Okay, so I'm going to say, what was the question you asked?
So you're saying about what Reb Yoel would speak about. He would speak about
so
that is Torah. And how did that translate to Yoel and what he wasn't a month from the Bachram? What did he try to communicate?
I'm gonna say try to remember, you have to remind me. I'm gonna say three things, which I think give you the main points. Kimuvin Reb Yoel is ein b'dei malei. In sein Chushim, Chochma, Bina, Das. He's bein arich legamri, von allem. But three things I want to say, which I think made him mamish unique. Number one was nobody has a chush like him. Was can I reinkriegen in the Kli HaMakabel and do the brain surgery, mizogt. In his shir, he would say many times, Tanidr Pat, Tanidr Pshat. When he would say that, demlik the ganze Meise. So you could be a good bacher, learns Chassidus, by the Melech Tzibul. I'm a starke makabel from the Melech Tzibul, Ol B'Shalom. I believe Reb Melech is Maila. Those two are Hechef and Hala. But still, Reb Melech didn't have this chush that we're going to talk about now, which is, you could be a bacher, you've had many mashpim, you learned for many years Chassidus, and then you come to Reb Yoel. What happens now? What happens now is, he's the first one that's able to go in dein Kopf und sehen dein Tos, wie du es getracht früher, and then change it. What should I tell you? Which no one else does it like that. Und das sieht man bei Reb Yoel a chush, which we see later on in life more, we appreciate. I'm saying now, he was a genius at reading the crowd. That's why he made that sefer on Vayel Meisha, whatever, the Satmer, when it matzir given mit Dielam. Hechel Menachem Chevre. He went to Lakewood, he went to Gemeshurim Dorten. So it verstanden good the yeshivish sort of mentality. He had mushpoyim, private shurim b'meshach hashanim. You'll find out that the cooks rein in the roof, fragen the Rebbetzin, with Israelis, secular people, professors, people from all walks of life. He was the type of person, he knew where you're coming from. He knew your Welt. And then, he's usually, let's say you meet a person, yeah? Okay. And you say, the Baal Shem Tov halt lazeh, yeah? And he'll say, aber ich gehe in the derech von der Gra. Nie, so machleikes and zeig Gedele Yisruel. Ich kann sich nicht daran mischen. So that's it. This one said like that one said like that. Shittis Baal Shem Tov is azeh, but wir gehen mit einer anderen derech, yeah? So there's no answer to that. That's a very difficult thing to be able to answer, yeah? So then I'd be able to, du verstehst nicht. Wir sind mehr, der ämste Talmidi Agra. Was ist Pshat a Talmud von Gra? He'll get down to the show, hello, weißt wer der ämste Zioini? A Chassid. Chas v'sholem Zioini. But you get what I'm saying, yeah? So that's Yoel's chush. Nobody has that chush. And you see that Kinder book, you see it. The Pale Mamish. And the same thing is with Abacher. In Temchet Mimim, whatever subject you're talking about, Yoel had the chush to get to the Nekuda, to show where your mistake was, and then turn it around. So that's the first thing. So that's why once a Talmud that learned by Reb Yoel, it's a whole thing. it opens up a whole new world. Jeder Sache guckt anders. Because now he first begins to appreciate what the Alter Rebbe sagt da in dem Perik. What the Rebbe will always bring with them Sicha. You understand what I'm saying? The second thing I would say, I hope I'm going to remember. The second thing I'm going to say is a very unorthodox statement. And I don't want to be meilich on this because this is like going into dangerous territory. But to me, in my very, very, very humble opinion, this is the number one reason for his atzlacha, besides for alle anderen yonim. Reb Yoel represented emes. Heche von Tziyurim. He's not Merkaz, he's not Detroit, he's not Mishichist, he's not anti-Mishichist, he's not a head shliach, he's not a menal, and he's not a mashpia. Was meint zu sagen? Hat nicht gescheiches zu Holos HaYishuv. Baruch Hashem. No bocher had to ask him for a shuss. No bocher had to ask him for a shuss, and he never had to say no to any bocher. Versteht sich gemein? So, in andere Werte, most people, and that's the way life works, they're in a tzir. You're Rabbi Goldstein, because you have a kehillah. Und du bist Rabbi this, and you're the, and du bist einer von the Chevre Yabezn Tzedek from who knows where, Timbuktu. I'm just saying, jeder eine hat sein Zier. And he gets stuck in that Zier. And jede Sache, was nicht in dem Zier, oder bestiert zu dem Zier, is not going to gel, is not going to go together. Wenn wir geguckt auf Reb Yoel, haben wir gehört, Rebbe, Chassidus, Rebbe, Bezehu. And that's why he was able to relate and touch everybody. And that's why, und das kommt von Bittel, Bemis, total Bittel. Sich nicht angehört any agendas, nicht sich angehört any Partei, sich angehört, hafatzes hamayonis chutz. That's it. Nicht doch in sich. There's no time, there's no limits. Hours in a car driving here, hours in a car driving there. I'm needed for the job, here I am. To be Magia Sicha from Rebbe, everyone knows Lamed Ches. You'll have to ask later, Chaim Shel Baruch, when I get to what happened with my mother, the Mugudike. But in Lamed Ches, Ki Yidua, the Rebbe said the Sicha Motzoi Shabbos, Reb Yoel locked himself up from Motzoi Shabbos till Monday morning in a room. That's it. Nishdok in Tag, Nishdok in Nacht. He's locked up from the second the Rebbe finishes the Sicha, working on it till Monday morning straight, and then it was given into the Rebbe to be Magia. And Baruch Hashem was Zeicha. That was the first time we had a big Hagah for many sichas. So the second thing I wanted to say when we get to Reb Yoel is, as I believe, the Yisrael von seiner Atzlache gewinnt sein Bittel, Mamish, sein Bittel im Ganzen, und emes Mensch. You know, sagt alle werden Bottle von einem emes, das ist der Wort von Rabbeim. That's him. Last but not least, I want to say, was gemont von der Bocherim, is Take verstehen grundig. In other words, you're learning a maimer, v'hinei, v'inyanhu, what's his v'in? Or what's the hamshach? What's going on over here? That whole word. His main derech is given, liegen in hecher in yonim, al derech the Rebbe shita v'hes chadas. Am liegt in hecher in yonim, is the ashkofa beitzich, when the ashkofa beitzich the ganze mensch. Okay, we speak and closed it. I think I gave you the main kudus. Was noch? Anything else, my friend?
Can you elaborate a little bit on the last point? How did Yoel actually how did he do that? How did he specifically, how did he do that?
So I want to say something again and again. I hope I'm not going to get into any trouble. And Leibel Shapiro repeated this, Rabbi Leibel Shapiro repeated this on the video of the Shloshim and also in the video of the Shiva. You know what I'm talking about? They made two Farbrengens. Mm-hmm. And Reb Leibel Shapiro said this, it's not like people think today, Reb Yoel at Giton, the Mashpia has to work one-on-one with the Bacha, that whole idea. In Gansen, not the way it was, and it was never like that. Reb Shlomo Chaim Kesselman, and it's so fine. But Reb Yoel had gegossen. That's the pshat that gearbeitet with the Bachram. So if there's 4 or 5 Bachram that came to his house on a Thursday night, in the Lamed, he would sit a whole Thursday night. So the Bachar saw that he cared for them. Und hat sich auch gegeben mit seinem Ganzen. But you had to be interested. When we weren't dealing with situations of I mean, there's a Yotzim and a Kal. There are some Yotzim and a Kal stories where Rabbi Yoel gehet wegen a Bachar, was es nicht beseder, und hat gerett mit dem am soll sehen etwas tun. Yeah, okay, that's a Yotzim and a Kal. Especially in those days, such a thing was more Yotzim and a Kal. But I'm saying the Seder was, like Lamashal, me personally, I wasn't from the Cheved that was like Reb Yoel's inner circle. I was just a good, I go to a shir and I listen to the shir. And for whatever reason, he knew me by name. Just because of who I later married, and because, yes, if I was by a shir, I would ask him questions. But I wasn't from his inner circle that spent a lot of time mamish in his Dal Ramis, and he had those, the Bachim that were chayzim. They would walk him home after Fabringen Shabbos. And there was the people with some, ich hab mich gescharfer Kopf. Ich hab mich, a schnelle Twisse, there's those type of Talmidim Chadudim, the ones that are schnelle Twisse, sharp cup. I'm not like that. I wasn't like that. And there was the Americans, that was the earlier years, the Lamets, and maybe the beginning of the Mems. But then later, once it started, bigger kvutzes, especially after I left New York, and the nuns invited, it was the Israelis, and and so though the Israeli chevre was in a sharp chevre, Hamashnal Tvise, Ken Gut Lenin, Al Derech, and they were like the inner circle. You know what I'm saying? So those are the ones who obviously took the most from Reb Yoel. If you hung around him, and you're in his Dalet Amis of Mesav B'Farag Leim, so then you're gonna get the most. But the main point I want to bring out is, it was you had to press record, listen to his words, and take it in. That's how he was mashpia. Not that he's coming over to you and saying, Shimon Hellinger, was macht? How are you today? You feeling well?
That was him. That was his. But Reb Yoel that was his milef. That was his milef. Okay, that he just he gave out the emes and he.
No, what I'm saying is
lifted people up. He lifted them up.
Yeah, but I'm saying today people think that the only good mashpia is going to be the person who is involved with me personally, giving me a private share, calling to me, giving me private attention. And when I had a runny nose and a headache, he made sure to bring me a hot tea. It's all made of the Kazachen. But I'm just being metired. The Sinish given Reb Yoel.
Right. That was his milef. That's what his milef was. That he was taka. He was ben hecher. He was. Yeah. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been Reb Yoel.
The point is, what I'm saying is, the Talmud had to have a shtickle intellectual curiosity. Then he began to appreciate more. You understand? Was tutzach, and they could speak the same language, and they could connect, and he could communicate. But the Bacher was something ganzen nicht gechush and thinking, was a Chabad, was the Alter Rebbe, was is the Ufte von Chassidus. Somebody not thinking like that is not really gonna be able to take it. You understand what I'm saying? So getting back to et mashpir given the Iker liegen in Hecher in Yonim, liegen in Teres Chassidus. Verstehen und verstehen an Efen as a bite the Mensch. Learning Chabad, don't just dog Tillen. That whole idea, that's one of his main things. Was hat gemont und gemont und gemont. Versteht sich, hat gerät stark wegen Bittel. Not Bittel like davening. Bittel was like gib dich weg im Ganzen. I would say the Yoel's main theme in Avodah was the word from the Tiyam Shakela. Any day based derech melichan. You see that schnit. That schnit. I would say now that I'm working in yeshiva, I would say there were two areas at nicht gerät zu viel wegen them that maybe if he was more aware of Umahalt, and if he was, whatever, nicht gerät wegen Avas Yisrael as I feel, und nicht gerät as I feel wegen Yiras Shamayim. Now, whatever, because he would say, Mustama Yiras Shamayim Tivis, it's not what it's about. And I think by Avas Yisrael, I think by him it was a Dovra Poshut.
Yeah.
Fully Zazun.
Yeah.
So, durchgewegt mit Sepurich Sidim and the Avas Reim. So I could tell you, by the way, from my Shver, just a side point, my Shver is Ibn Gurari, Olav Shalom, father of Yossi Gurari from Detroit, Rabbi Yossi Gurari, Rabbi Shalom Beger. So they both were on the boat together. They came Yud Shvat, Tovshin Yud Aleph. They went on the boat Yud Shvat. They went on the boat Yud Aleph Shvat Sunday morning. They didn't know the Friedrich Rebbe was nostalgic. Then they came to New York. So my Shver L'Moshel Almal gelebt mit Nachlas Binyamin Shtibel. That was a Shtibel in Tel Aviv. It was the best place you want to hang out. Mit alle Chassidische Tzurim, haben verbracht dort und zusammen. And my Shver would always talk about it. Later, when Reb Yoel's style changed, man muss sagen, this prat changed a lot. After Gimel Tammuz also, he started saying much more stories. Before that, he was not into the stories. People read the book now, Badak Chassidim, and they say how much he said stories, and the Plinim, was nicht given the Seder. You know, in the Lamids and in the Mems, I don't know about the Chavs, but ich stell sich vor, he wasn't, Reb Melech would say stories. By Verbringen by Reb Melech, in one night you could hear 30 stories. Reb Yoel hat nicht gerät meises. Het gerät der Havana, was a whole wow, a mahalach, a Verbringen, like I said, Moshe Rabbeinu Matan Torah, Deir Shvi, Tzias Mitzrayim, Alter Rebbe, Chabad, and the Lamaila comes up in the Mata, and then we come to the home run in the end. The Rebbe, Deir Shvi, Dir B'Tachtenim, Bittel. That was Rabbi Yoel's Verbringen. No one else Verbrings like that. It's unbelievable. But it wasn't so much Mises. Later, Noch Gimel Tammuz, don't give Masach Mem with the Zechrenos. And you go back, you see Taker, that so much of it is about the Shtibel, the Nachlas Binyamin Shtibel in Tel Aviv. So that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that's why I think in that earlier in his life, you know, when he was younger, he didn't speak about those things. It's like, that's a Devra Pashit. Mit darf man warnen in Jahren von Lashon Hara? Mit darf man warnen in Jahren von Midas Mushchosses? Mit darf man warnen... Yeah, he spoke about Yeshus, Taka, always.
Taka, it's true what you're saying. In the later years, after Gimel Tammuz, he started speaking a lot about Avos Yisrael and Pashat and Yiras Shamayim. He was forbraying about very basic things and speak to the Bachrim. I don't know if he became more aware or he realized this is something that's important to speak about, and he would be more about very Pashat basic things. Yeah.
Okay, so therefore, what I'm saying, my main point I want to bring out is the Frext, what was his Shturim? His Shturim was Stel sich hecher, liegen hecher in Yonim, Chabad, mit Beita Ashkofe, und der ganze Mensch wird anders, in alle in Yonim, und gibt sich weg im Ganzen. That's it. Mir gibt sich weg im Ganzen. Bittel im Ganzen, like,
right.
Everything else is Giluyim, everything else is geblieben in dein Ziel. Das weg im Ganzen. Okay, I think we covered the base, the Yisodis.
Okay. Okay, Asher Koyach.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Alles on sein gebencht mit Kultiv Stella. Und L'chaim, Reb
Yoel,
Reb Yoel, so haben wir Elias an Hashem, Isbet, Reb Yoel Nachman. Hakein, so haben wir an Elias an Hashem, Isbet, alles gut für ganz Klal Yisrael. And the Drike Brachis, so sein wir Kitzer an der Sheikh Neofer, take of me a mamish, who be seichem, begula mitzvah shlema. L'chaim, l'chaim.